Press conference in Huddersfield and immediately retained the services rights, who've led Arsenal in their last two matches.
Messi has kept them holding on. The thing has found its place at last. Japanese club grab the same will keep them tied until the end of this month. Then will officially take over at Highbury on October the 1st, with Pat Rice confirmed as his number 2.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the 12th Man. We are here in 2019. I'm your host Prakash, and this is my co-host Praddy.
Hey, and we told you we are going to come back to you with something new, something different, and we sure have. We're no longer discussing game by game, and which some of them are really boring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the biggest talking points from the last week. Week, or that's been building up since the start of the new year. And what better way to start off with Manchester United when they played Spurs this week?
Yes, is Ole the Man? That's our first question today.
For Man United.
For Man United. Is Ole the Man for Man United. Okay, so let's go over the different topics that we have today first. First, the question we'll be asking is Ole the Man for Man United. Then we'll be talking about Arsenal's usual budgetary woes. We'll be talking about referee decisions a la Man City Wolves, Man City
And
Liverpool.
I know. Always a City.
Yeah.
And
then we'll be talking about the title race. And then, actually, I'm going to add one more thing onto this list. We will be talking about Huddersfield's timely sacking. Or not sacking, but mutual consent split between Huddersfield and the manager that brought them to where they are. All right, so let's go. We start with, is Ole the Man for Man United?
I don't think so. Okay, and I'll tell you
what are your points?
My reason being is that given how Jose had totally screwed up Manchester United, okay, the way that they were playing, the players weren't playing for neither for the team, neither for the badge, nor for the manager. The club was in basic chaos at the point, right? And there is this point where it happens with most clubs, and I've seen it happen to Liverpool as well when we had Roy Hodgson. So when you're really down in the dumps and when you get rid of your manager and bring in someone new, that there isn't always a positive, there's a positivity that is brought to the club, right? Everything happens.
Yeah.
Everything is done. Everything is good for the club for a certain period of time. Now,
I agree on that point. Like it's that new manager bump is what most these relegation fighting teams get, right? Like we've seen that time and time again of clubs all of a sudden going on great winning streaks as soon as they get a new manager.
Yeah, I mean you'd have like West Ham, Stoke City. They all get rid of their managers mid through the season, and then they somehow try and beat the relegation.
Like Crystal Palace with the 4 losses and then straight like crazy wins after that. Yeah, exactly. I agree.
And yes,
but where I would differ in this is I would say that one thing that most United fans missed is with all the previous managers that we've had, not one of them played the United way. Not a single one of them played the United way.
I suppose so.
And here I'm being the devil's advocate. I may not believe that Ole is the man for Man United in the long run. I don't know yet.
Right.
But from what I've seen, I love this. There's if we don't get Pochettino, I wouldn't be sad if he got him.
I guess so. I mean, like I completely agree that he's getting United to play the United way, and it happens, right? Because he had been in United for quite some time, so he had the ethos in him, and that very few managers would actually play the United way, right? I mean, not every manager would kind of know how to play the United way, if you get what I mean. Like it's like you see it with Ole because he's been with the club for so long. If Pochettino comes this way, you may not play the United way, you'll play Pochettino's way, which is still attacking, which is not United, not like exactly how Saf did it, but you would have a similar, it's closer than what Jose was doing, let's say that, right? Now my only thing with Ole is that, fine, he and we come to the point where he beat the potential candidate in Pochettino, right? Beating Spurs. Now, like, fine, well and good that they beat Spurs, but you'd have to give that match credit solely goes to De Gea, because without De Gea,
Perhaps.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's not solely today. Clearly, that's not true. I mean,
okay, not
that
and not
Rashford finish was insane. Right? That was an
okay.
amazing goal. Okay.
I mean, like a large part of your win that game
A
came
large
down.
part. Like the
Yeah,
first half, we could have even scored more goals than we had the first game. So like I hear this a lot saying that yeah, it was. I'm not gonna say it was obviously not. I'm gonna say that it's not solely. It's not. It's like at least maybe 70% of the not
yeah,
more.
yeah. No, I
He saved the game.
yeah.
Like even if we go by statistics, pure statistics, facts, Spurs expected goals was 2, United was 1. So technically, by numbers, it should have been a 2-1.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think he had the most number of saves for any goalkeeper in the Premier League for a particular in one individual match.
This
right?
season.
Yeah, this season. Yeah.
Yeah, in this season. Yeah.
Which is insane. And I saw the match. He was making saves left, right, and center. I think that
like every 2 minutes, I had to be like, "What the fuck? What is going? How did you save?" There was one where he did a split and he stopped the goal. I was like, "What?
No, I mean De Gea
Who is
under
this man?"
De Gea under Jose would have let that in. Most of them would have gone in for some reason. I'm thinking that.
No, he used to stop that under Jose too. Like we had that Arsenal game where we won 3-1 and Arsenal
No,
had 22 shots.
No, I'm saying the third season Jose. Okay, like where
Ah,
everyone
okay.
was kind
You
of.
think De Gea was downing tools for Jose?
Well, you could see his performance were never the same after the Spain loss. Like you could see a dip in that.
Perhaps.
I mean, I clearly saw it because the matches that fine maybe the defense is more to blame than De Gea, but De Gea saved your defense so many times in the past couple of years. This year,
Yeah.
I felt his
It wasn't happening.
his level had dropped slightly, especially after the World
Yeah, he
Cup.
dropped to a normal goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like he went from superhuman to a Premier League goalkeeper.
It kind of made me doubt again whether not doubt whether he's the world's best, but kind of say that has he dropped to a level where the others have kind of come closer to his level, right?
Right.
But I mean, Spurs just took him to another level. Now, if he continues that, then there's no stopping him again. And
But yeah.
And for United, they should be grateful that Real Madrid won't come calling.
Okay, yeah. So this is digressing to a De Gea topic.
Okay, but
so let's get back to is Ole the man.
Yeah.
I think we both on the same page that I think we don't think he's the man for the long term. That he is probably riding a wave of the new manager bump.
Yeah.
But the one thing, as opposed to most of the other new manager bumps, is that I love the way that they're playing, and it feels like I actually feel happy for once watching United. I haven't felt this way in I don't know how long. Maybe like second season Jose a little bit for the first half until the City game.
Yeah.
But I have it's so great watching this team actually attack and. Yeah, it's just that I know that being in that position, being pressed by those two players, Matic last year would have passed back, but this year all he does, he turns his body and puts it front.
Yeah,
and that it's a clear and obvious change, and I love that. I love that every single time somebody gets the ball, they're all looking to move forward instead of back or side, maybe side, but looking to move forward. And that's something that's great to see. And maybe Ole is not the man to take us to a Champions League or a Premier League title, maybe. But he is definitely the man that I like to watch.
See, Ole has definitely done Man United a world of good. Okay, coming in, that positivity, the way he's changed the style of play, everything, it's going well for United. Now the thing is, what happens if they go on a streak of losing some of the big matches or even smaller matches? Does he have that capability, that tenacity in him to adapt his game, to change it slightly? Because right now he's won 6 out of 6, probably the first time in United's history that they've won the first 6 matches. A manager's won his first 6 matches. That's all well and good. But what if he comes against
and tied with Bobby Robson for the first 5 Premier League games?
Yeah, I mean, what if he comes against like a Man City or someone, right? And then that starts probably a loss of 2 or 3 games. Does he have it in him to kind of come back, right? again, right now
it's a question.
it looks like it could be because it's a short term thing. Maybe next season, once again it starts off. I don't know. Long term, I still think Pochettino will be a safer choice.
I will tend to agree. Okay, so let's go on to.
Uh,
But see, that's a yeah. Okay, my last word is, if not for Pochettino, my second choice is Ole. But if for Pochettino, yes, Pochettino.
okay, and
That's my
yeah,
that's my fan.
before we go on to the next topic, I think we should hear from one of our guests, Ashik, who's got his say on whether he thinks Ole is the right man for the United job.
Mm-hmm. Take it away.
So, Ole in or Ole out? Basically, let's start off with short term goals or achievements because, especially last few games of Mourinho, United were pretty shit. So, after that, it was important to have some sort of resurgence or at least start playing well if forgetting the result. So, at least that's gotten off to a good start 6 wins out of 6, and players look like they're motivated enough to play. And the attacking displays more, which is more than just parking the bus and passing the ball sideways and backwards, it's been a welcome change. As for whether he should keep the job in the long run, there are lots of factors factor into it. For example, the first 6 games, let's say, other than Spurs, the others you could argue that Mourinho would have won them too. And it all depends on where United would be at the end of the season. It's still far too early to call. Let's say if United were to hypothetically finish in the top 4 while maintaining a good level of play and continuing their attacking displays, it makes no sense to change the manager. It'll just undo all the hard work he's put in, and the players themselves might not feel like it's the right move. And in terms of replacements, there's Zidane, Conte, and Pochettino. Two of them are currently not working, while the third is under contract. And at the start of next season, if Ole continues to stay, and if something does go wrong, then it looks like Zidane and Conte would not be coaching anywhere at the time, and either way, United will have to buy out Pochettino from his contract. So the change could possibly be made much later on instead of doing it at the start of the season. Effectively, if United are in the Champions League next season, then I see no reason for Ole to be changed with another manager. If not, then it makes much more sense to give it to a more established, experienced manager and build from there.
All right, so thanks Ashik for
So
that. Yeah, and I think we should move on to the next topic. So from the highs of United to the lows of Arsenal.
oh yes, oh yes, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to see Arsenal going through this because that means that we have a slightly better opportunity of making it to the top.
Yeah.
Not because I'm sadistic about Arsenal. I'm actually starting to feel bad for them right now.
No,
So hey,
I mean, the start of the season, it was actually the roles were reversed, right? United were going through the slump of Jose's third season. Arsenal had this 22 22 unbeaten run, right? That they went through 20 or 22 match unbeaten run, and they were flying high. They were like, "Oh, we'll make top four. We could even challenge for the Premier League title." And then, in just like that, they've lost. I think four or whatever, how many ever matches in the past.
I remember that the gap was 11 points.
Yeah.
Between United and Arsenal, and we were closer to seventh place than fifth, and now we're tied.
Yep.
We're tied on everything but goals scored.
Right.
And that's a 3-goal difference.
I mean, so Arsenal are now tied with United. They do not have any money to spend in the January transfer window, nor probably even the summer transfer window. God knows what that's going to bring up. And we've also heard now recently that Sven Mislintat, their recruitment head, is now leaving the club. So over disputes over the transfers because Kroenke is not going to spend any money. Apparently, there was this report or whatever that somebody had created which showed that Arsenal had zero income from finances, owner finances. That means since 2008, Kroenke has not spent a dime, a cent, a penny on the club. which is ridiculous. You're Arsenal Football Club. I mean, you were in the
I
top.
know.
You were in the top four for generations.
Yeah, and I get that, and it's almost like it's continuing that. It's not like he doesn't have the money. He used the money to buy out this guy's share, right? The other Russian guy,
Usmanov, yeah.
Usmanov. Yeah, he used money to buy off Usmanov's share. He's technically input money, but not into the club, but into the shares of. And it's so clear that there's like nothing more important to him than money.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is not a football club. This is a cash cow. That's what this is at the end of it.
Yeah, I was reading about Stan Kroenke, and he's known as Silent Stan, okay, which means that he doesn't get involved in his day-to-day operations of his clubs that he owns. Now, what I've also heard is that the money that he's gaining from Arsenal, okay, and he gains a lot because the tickets are probably the most expensive at Arsenal. The food and beverages that people buy, the amount of income that
The
club,
season tickets,
yeah,
yes,
that the
are
club is
highest, yeah.
pumping is crazy, and he gets that, and I think he's using that money to help his, I don't know what the LA Rams are or whatever in the US.
Yeah, his
So,
US clubs.
yeah, his US clubs, and that is pissing people off here, man, in London, because I mean he's nowhere.
Yeah.
This whole thing of
And it's so clear that there are issues like with Sven leaving. I mean, like what was the first comment on Twitter saying, like, what's the point of a recruitment guy if there's no money to recruit, right?
Exactly. I mean,
That's kind of sad.
because he brought in Aubameyang, he brought in Socrates, he brought in Torreira. These are the guys who were doing well for Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
And now that you're telling him there's no money, you can only go get loan deals. They're even struggling to get a
Ridiculous.
loan deal.
This is a club. How is a top 6 club supposed to go get loan deals? This is ridiculous.
And only on loan deal. They can't even get a loan deal for Dennis Suarez, and he's not even the best Suarez in the team. Right? A loan deal for that. A loan deal for James Rodriguez. That means they're loaning a player who's already loaned to another club. They're loaning a loanee, right?
Yeah.
And then they want to, and Sven actually wanted to bring Dembele in, Usman from Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the difference. These guys can only get Banega, Dennis Suarez, and James Rodriguez. 3 of them who are decent players, but nowhere close to getting Arsenal to a top 4 or top 3 finish. Whereas Sven says, why don't we just go and get Dembele, who's, you've seen what he's done. Dembele's done crazy things for Barcelona, even kicked Coutinho out of the team. A guy who can literally take.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like when we came in, there was such hype that there is actually a proper plan, a proper process, and it seemed like when we looked over at Arsenal, we were like, these guys are doing everything that we did. These are doing everything right.
Yeah.
That we did wrong when Ferguson left.
Exactly.
And it felt like they learned the lessons from our mistakes, and it was initially it was kind of scary seeing where they're headed, but it's just it's so clear that it all comes down to the owners. They're the ones who from the top, if the top is not right, the whole club all the way throughout is going to be bad.
Yeah.
And it's so clear that that there is an actual change that needs to happen if this club has to ever come back and win the Premier League title again.
I mean, yeah, it's going to take a huge change. I mean, the biggest change is Kroenke getting out, selling the club. Okay,
yeah, it is the only I think there's nothing else but Kroenke going out. Like
they can't be right
So they've changed the manager, they've changed the director of football, they've changed the head of recruitment.
Yeah.
The only thing left to change now is the owner of the club, and it seems like even though all the other 3 changes were done positively, that final one has let everything else down again. So it has to be, if this club has to come back to success, it has to be Kroenke leaving. There's no other option but that.
Yeah, man. This has been a quick turnaround, because I think until December, Arsenal looked well and truly in the mix for the top 4. And suddenly, I think after that whole Liverpool 5-1 defeat, they've just self-imploded.
Yeah, it seems like it did. Yeah.
It's sad.
All right, so let's get back to the next topic. I think this is an ongoing.
Before that, I'd just like to give again another shout out to Srivatsa, who's going to talk about the Arsenal woes. Yeah, he also, when I told him that he had to prepare a video. He felt so sad. He's like, I cannot criticize my club anymore than I've already have. Yeah, it's a sad topic, but take it away, Srivastav.
Yeah, let's leave the Arsenal people to talk about Arsenal in this case. All right, take it away, man.
Hello everyone, my name is Srivastav and I'd like to talk about Arsenal. And so basically, Arsenal is like a self-financing sports club. So they can only use the money they generate which they generate on match days and sponsors, etc. And the club doesn't receive any financial support from the majority owner, which is Stan Kroenke. And Stan Kroenke is known for buying a lot of sports clubs. He actually owns quite a few sports clubs across different sports, and he he only looks at all these clubs as it's like a business for him, and it's like purely business for him, and nothing else. He has a reputation of even changing the location of one of his, I think, American football teams from St. Louis to Los Angeles to generate more money on match days, and doesn't even care about the local fans which support the team. So yeah, but even despite all this, Arsenal is considered to be the sixth most valuable football club in the world. And I saw an article by Forbes really saying that Arsenal are the fourth in the world in terms of highest operating income. So they make a lot of money on match days, and it's the fourth highest in the world for any sports club. And despite all this, uh, recently the manager of Arsenal, Unai Emery, has come out and said that there's no money to spend because only loan deals are possible, and they've spent all the money they had on players for the last few transfer seasons. And this is completely baffling because if Arsenal had to be sold today, the deal could be in billions, and the manager of the sports club is coming and saying that there's no money to spend, which is obviously astonishing and it's unbelievable. And also, every year Arsenal reports that they have more than 100 million pounds in cash reserves. But from what I know is that this cash reserve is the collateral for the banks which Arsenal owe money for constructing the stadium. The thing is, Arsenal is not exactly considered under debt because of the cash reserves. One of the reasons why I feel that the cash reserves have not been spent for many years now. But then again, 100 million is isn't much in the current scenario of football. A few years ago, with 100 million, you could buy 4 or 5 top quality players, but then nowadays, probably one or at the max two. So the costs are increasing exponentially every year, and 100 million will soon, it will be the going price for maybe like one quality player, not even world class, maybe quality player. In like 2 3 years time, 100 million will be like the going rate for maybe a striker that can score 15 to 20 goals a season. So like most clubs do now, I feel that they should be spending money on. They should analyze and get good players with potential, and then if you sell them, you should make a profit. It's like, for example, the sale of Coutinho or Usman Dembele, where the players have been bought for less, and the players' contracts have not been run down till the final season. And when the player wants to leave, you can make a huge profit of it. And for example, from the sale of Coutinho, Liverpool have bought quality players like Alisson and Van Dijk, which have like massively improved them. But Arsenal have failed to do that, and in fact, we've lost a lot of money on players recently. Like Ramsey is leaving on free, Wilshere left on free, Welbeck will mostly leave on a free. Sanchez was a swap deal. At the max, that deal would have been worth around 20 25 million. But then that's not the value of Sanchez, right? At that moment, if Sanchez had 4 years left in his contract, Arsenal could easily demand close to 80 million, 90 million, or maybe even 100 million for Sanchez because he was scoring, and that time he was in form and he was scoring a lot of goals, and he just by himself single-handedly won a few matches for Arsenal at the highest level. So we've lost virtually around 50 to 60 million on him. Ramsey is easily a 30 million player. Wilshere is easily a 15 to 25 million player. Welbeck is another 10 to 15 million player. So we've lost a lot of money. And there's another player, Lucas Perez. We bought him for almost 20 million, but we've let him go for almost peanuts. So even we've not actually bought well in the last few seasons, and we've lost a lot of money by not managing the players' contracts, and that doesn't help because if you add up all these players, if you've sold them for the actual price or what they're worth, it could easily be around 150 million right now. And with 150 million, it's easily two, three good players which can massively improve the squad of Arsenal, and probably we won't be in this position. And like I said before, in the beginning of the season, we needed two players, which and two positions to be filled. One was a centre back, and one was a central defensive midfielder. Lucas Torreira was a brilliant signing. He's massively improved our midfield, and is one of the best signings of the season in the world, in my opinion, because we just got him for like 22 million pounds, and that's a steal in today's market. But then again, we bought Socrates. Socrates is actually a pretty good player. We just got him for 15 million, and it's actually a pretty good deal. But then, as you can see, we only kept 3 or 4 clean sheets the entire season. That wasn't enough. Maybe we needed another centre back. And for some reason, I don't know why, Chambers was sent on loan, and we're actually short. Lichtsteiner has come as cover for Bayern, but he's 35 and it's showing he's not up to the mark. He's not of the level of Premier League anymore because he's not young anymore, and he's a right back. He gets beaten for pace. He's got good technical awareness and tactical awareness, but because of his experience. But then it's right back, especially, it's not an old man's game. We need backup for Bellerin, and definitely need another centre back. And nowadays centre backs are going for 50, 60 million. So, and if they're saying there's no money at all and only loan deals are possible, then when are all these problems going to get solved? And maybe I think this is one of the reasons why Gazidis left, and even Sven Mislintat is not happy with his current position, because when there's no money, when the club is not willing to spend money to improve the club, what is the point of having a high quality director of football? No, Sven Mislintat is not director of football, that talent head or something like that. That's his post, where he analyzes the players and high potential players, and he tells the club, and the club has to buy them. But when there's no money, what is the point? So he feels like his role is questionable. What is he there for? When if what I think I read an article where he said something like where it said something like he spends like years and months of analyzing and watching other players, and when he shows those records and his analysis to the club, and if they don't follow up because there's no money, then he's just wasting his time. That's what he feels. He feels undervalued, and he feels like he's wasting his time. And there are other clubs like Bayern Munich that are willing to get him and revamp their squad and willing to spend money and improve their club. But then Arsenal seem to be on a fix. They don't know what to do. And honestly, since the backroom staff and the board, I feel they're not handling this well. It's almost clueless what they've done ever since Wenger left. But Wenger had to leave. That's a whole other story. His tenure was in the end. But Unai Emery right now, he has a very big challenge, because any manager, no matter how good he is, he needs the support of the club. If he doesn't have the club, if the club doesn't back him with the players he wants, how much can he do with what is available? a few years ago, even Wenger said that his second half of his career was actually more challenging, and he feels he's done a better job than the first half of his career at Arsenal because of the situation the club is. So if a manager is not getting backed, no matter how good he is, like I don't, it will be very difficult for him to achieve what he wants to. And Unai Emery is in such a spot right now. And if he doesn't qualify for the Champions League this season, I doubt anyone is going to blame him that much because he wasn't exactly backed by the club. It's difficult for a supporter to keep supporting a club when the club doesn't, you know, show that interest in their for their fans and for their audience. They need to respect the fans and they need to, you know, show more and back the club and improve the club so that even the supporters feel motivated to support their club. It's it's just like any relationship. It has to be from both sides, and if the club doesn't value that, then it is a very difficult time for Arsenal fans, to support the club when they feel the club isn't doing anything for them. And slowly you can see that the fans are getting restless. They're not happy with the way the club is being run and the voices are being raised. And I hope it doesn't get ugly, and I hope there's no problem, and I hope that there's no toxic environment anymore. I feel that's like some of the past. No more. I don't want any more protests. I just want the board to realize what they're doing and how badly they're running the club. I just want to rectify. I just want them to know and rectify their mistakes, and at least improve the club from now on, because we've had a fresh start with Unai Emery. He seems like a decent manager. He seems like he's capable enough and experienced enough to run a big club. The club, I feel, is right now in the hands of the club's board to back him and improve us, and I hope they do, honestly, because every year we can't keep finishing fifth, sixth. God knows, hopefully it improves, but yeah, we can't keep finishing fifth and sixth all season with the rest of the clubs moving forward. I feel the same sort of ambition should be shown by a club like Arsenal to improve and challenge for titles like the Premier League or the Champions League, because they are capable. If at all we are one of the biggest clubs in the world, we should act it.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was
Sad.
good. Yeah, well, c'est la vie. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think this topic can go on, but we will get back to it over and over again. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next one, which is the referee decision.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
been a
I
topic.
think this will be you. I
Yeah.
want you to take it all away because this is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a topic that's been going on for a while. It started, I think, at least as a Liverpool fan, it started with Salah's dive against Newcastle, the FA not taking any action against that. Should he have taken action? I mean, people dive on a regular basis. I don't know what specific action they want to take now. Uh, then it happened. So the latest refereeing decision that people are talking about is the Bowley, Billy Bowley, who's uh, Wolverhampton Wolves defender. So he tackled Bernardo Silva and he got sent off in their recent match with City 1. And that kind of drew comparisons with Company's tackle, Vincent Company's tackle on Salah when Liverpool played Manchester City at the Etihad. And Company was only given a yellow card for that, which looked probably a more dangerous tackle than the Billy Boney. Wilfred Boney keeps coming to my mind for some reason, and so that talks about. I mean, that brought up this whole debate about the consistency of refereeing decisions, and again, will this uh, this consistency be kind of brought in because of VAR? Like, will VAR help in bringing this consistency amongst referees in the Premier League? We've seen it in La Liga where the Spanish referees were terrible the previous couple of years, and then they brought in VAR, changed the whole game. Okay, at least now decisions are being backed. Sure, it's the referee's decision at the end that he's got the final say, but still VAR makes it more transparent for everyone. And so, I mean, okay. So personally, I would say yes, VAR does work. At least the VAR that I saw in the World Cup, the way it was used, I was actually my mind was made up that we do need VAR in this day and age.
I mean, I agree with the VAR. Like it's necessary. Like it is. It's just it's. I get that they're waiting. I get that they're waiting until they get it right. Especially in the Premier League, it needs to be right. Like this is the pinnacle of everything. Right?
Yeah.
If it like it has to be absolutely right in the Premier League. So it's even with the test that we had on FA Cup, where like in our United game,
Yeah.
when Mata was fouled and then Fred put the ball in. Fred was offside, so the goal was ruled out. But Mata was fouled, and only because of that did the ball reach Fred. But in live, it looked like Mata passed the ball and then like he fell over. So the fact that VAR was used gave us the right decision, the exact right decision. But that was a 2 minute long process. It took them 2 minutes 15 seconds. And that's 2 minutes 15 seconds of the game, the momentum, the speed. Like what happens is it could even be negative after that. What happens is like a crowd could be like pushing you. Everybody's like on their stands, running, screaming, and then a VAR decision can bring all of that down.
Yeah.
And we call the people the 13th man, right? You end up losing that atmosphere, and that's genuinely necessary. So that's something that they probably need to work on. I think they did a good job with the World Cup, but they probably need to work on that. And moreover, the issue is also like I don't know how they would be able to solve the problem of subjectivity in these decisions. Because if one referee gives a yellow and another referee gives a red, that would be the same case even if VAR was used, right? One referee, in his views, could think of it as a red, and one could think of it as a yellow.
Right. That's why I said that at the end it's in the discretion of the referee, right? It's all his decision at the end. It's the final decision. So
Yeah.
at the end, what he says goes. So even if he sees the VAR video and he says it's a yellow and red, so one guy could say yellow, one guy could say red. I completely agree with you on that. But the thing is, could there be a rule which kind of, well, would the video make it a little more clear that what how do you bring in consistency? Is that even possible in refereeing decisions? That's my whole point.
Yeah, perhaps like have a more clear rule book. I don't know.
Again, right? So even with a clear rule, even with a rule book, no matter how a tackle could look very nasty, but in fact it could, according to the rules, it's still playing for the ball, so you still get away with it. It's very hard. It's all a gray area. I mean, there's nothing black and white about it. So you can't say, oh, he tackled with 2 feet, so it's a red. But what if he actually got the ball and it's on his follow up that he caught the defender? So that's not a foul because he actually got the ball. And I mean, you can't stop a guy from sliding. So case in point, Virgil van Dijk's tackle, I think on Dries Mertens, and when we played them in the Champions League, 2-footed challenge, but got the full ball, okay? And obviously, because he's sliding, he gets the player. The player can't do anything about it. It's not like he can say, once you got the ball, leg, move right, get away from the player. It's like that's momentum taking you forward. So people started saying, no, that's a red card. But no, you got the full ball. So that's, according to the rule book, that's not even a yellow. Shouldn't be even a yellow. You can't, it's just momentum taking you forward. That fine, you got the person coming in the way, but that you can't call that a foul. So yeah, it's
It's a difficult thing to tackle. It is,
right,
and it's the one thing we know is that the next step anyway is VAR, and we should be moving towards that. That we
But
can all agree on.
haven't they already agreed that VAR is coming in next year? I think so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just that like that's the one that will help alleviate these issues, but it won't solve them, but it will help mitigate them.
At least some of the clear-cut ones, sure. The grey ones, no.
Definitely, the grey ones are always going to be a problem, which is not much we can do. Anyway, so let's get back to the next topic, which is going to be about the title race. It's a good point to move on between the City-Liverpool game to City-Liverpool title race.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think Spurs keep bottling it, and now with the loss of Harry Kane until March, and Son gone for the Asia Cup.
Son gone for 5 games, yeah.
Right. It's going to be quite difficult for Spurs to at least maintain it, which leaves the top two to Liverpool and Man City. It's
Yeah, it feels so weird supporting City, like cheering when they score when Aguero scored. I think that's the weirdest thing I've ever had. When Aguero scored a goal and I went yes, and I was like, wait a second, wait a second, how did I end up here?
yeah.
But
I
as
mean,
it is,
yeah, the Liverpool Man City match, had we won it, it would have at least given us a bigger ground because it'd been 10 points gap, a 10 point gap. But
probably the
now,
most exciting game of the season so far
yeah,
was the Liverpool City game, and I would say the Spurs game was my second most exciting for me at least.
yeah. I mean, the Liverpool City game, I think, showed how far apart both teams are to the rest. I think in terms of tenacity, in terms of stamina, the pressing, the
Yeah,
defending, everything. It just seemed like, yeah, these two are
they're
definitely
a
the,
whole class about it seems right now.
yeah,
But like as I'm saying, I feel like it only takes one injury.
yeah,
If Van Dijk is injured, that's it. Like your title hope is in serious jeopardy. So it just takes one person to change that,
yeah. I mean,
and that's what we're all hoping for. But uh, that was pretty clear. Like he is on almost every occasion so vital to
yeah.
now not just the defensive work but also offensively.
No, he is, and also we've already had a defensive crisis. We don't have Lovren, oh thank God, but we don't have Joe Gomez, we don't have Joel
We
Matip,
don't have
we
Alexander.
don't have Alexander Arnold. Klein's gone out on loan; he can't be recalled. So right now, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, Fabinho is a good choice for right back because he is a natural right back that he played for Monaco. You also have James Milner. I was supposed to say James Milner, but you have James Milner who's there who can fill up left back, right back, any of those positions. So I think Klopp was little more. I think he was happy to let Klein go because Klein wanted game time, so it made sense not to have somebody who's unhappy. And he's got backup. He feels that he's got backup. So I mean, for me, I completely I trust what he says. And according to him, none of the players are more than 2 weeks away now from coming back. So once we, once they get back, hopefully we should have our full strength. But right, as you said, if Van Dijk goes or one of the three forwards, probably Salah more than the other two, gets injured, then
Right. And because it's not like I know it's 4 points, but it's not like 4 points is that hard. It just takes one loss for Liverpool, one win for City, and it's another 1 point, one
yeah,
point title race. That's
I
it.
mean at this
So
point,
it is so vital because City has the depth. They do.
yeah,
They do. So it's so vital that I mean, getting kicked out of the FA Cup was a boon for Liverpool. Like
yeah.
it is probably the best loss that they could have had for
Yeah,
their title dreams.
we played also a
So it
second string, so it didn't matter at
exactly.
that point. So, I think,
So it's necessary that they keep their existing players fresh, unlike what happened with Kane, right?
we always knew that was going to happen with Spurs. The number of matches that they had, the squad that they had, one injury to Kane, and you knew that their title charge or whatever their season was in trouble. Also,
Okay, quickly
yeah,
before we go out of time,
yes,
we'll just get the last one topic in. We'll squeeze that in.
yes,
Let's talk about Huddersfield
yeah.
and the mutual separation of David Wagner and Huddersfield.
This is
What do you think
again.
about that?
I mean, it was coming. I was surprised that it took so long. I'm surprised it.
Really, like, but he's the best manager, like, who who they could have hoped to ask for.
But you had the same thing with Leicester, right? So, Ranieri won them the damn title, but eventually, when you don't get results your way, it is time. And
Yeah,
you
I
could see
guess it
that
is.
Huddersfield was struggling for goals, and they didn't really recruit much in the summer. And
Right, like even the owners himself said that even if they got relegated, they weren't going to fire Wagner, but it was he himself who approached him and said he needs a leave.
no, which I appreciate and which I mean, it's a good sign of respect, yeah, that Huddersfield didn't forget a manager that actually brought them to the Premier League, made them stay in the Premier League for one season.
Yeah,
right?
against
Because
all odds, right?
yeah, last season they did wonders against some of the big teams, and so it was a sign of respect. It was good to see that Wagner himself said, "Okay, I mean, like, I can't do much right now, so I think it's better for everyone, for the team, for me, that we just could part ways." And but I would have liked it if they had done it when they were out the relegation zone, because kind of leaving them in the relegation zone like that felt a little like
Like, yeah, maybe that's the issue, that he couldn't take them out of the allocation zone. That they needed that new manager bump. They
yeah.
needed things to change. They needed a whole refresh. And maybe it does. Maybe it pushes him out. I personally wanted Huddersfield out because of him and Mings, but let's see. Fulham, after spending $100 million down, well, that's hilarious. And
Yeah.
Newcastle, I think Newcastle should go down so that Rafa gets another job. This is ridiculous. He cannot be. He cannot be coaching a team
Coach.
like Newcastle.
I know. It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. They do
You
well.
know what? Yeah, I hope Cardiff City go out. Stupid Brexiter. Get out of the fucking Premier League.
Oh yeah, I remember. Of all, that was probably the most randomest video of 2019 already.
Like, no, like, are you stupid? Like, your team is owned by somebody who is not from England. You have half your team, half the players in your team are not from England. Like, what kind of ridiculous statement is that? Anyway, so on that note, let's hope for more quagmires and funny events for next week, and I'm sure we'll find things to talk about, and we will get back to you next week.
Yeah.
That's it for now. Take care. Bye bye. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Hey guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the 12th Man. Thank you.